So if people know anything about me, they know that I love making original characters. They'd also know that I love plushies. I decided to combine these two by being like, hey, what if I took my plushies and made them into original characters? So that was cool. I started thinking of the idea and lingered on it for a bit and thought of what kind of story could I make with these characters. So I'm thinking, you know what, since I'm combining a bunch of stuff I like, I might as well just go a step further and do those kinds of stories where it's like a corrupted TV show or lost media or whatever. So basically, I found the story of an idea of a group of people finding an old cartoon they remember as kids, which the show got canceled in the final season. Because of this, the main character of the show became evil and stuff and was terrorizing both their character world and the real world. In order to stop all the bad stuff, the group sends someone into the show with like magic and stuff. They do this with like a rift or something that allows the danger to reach the real world. And their plan is to try to keep the script going for the show in order to finish the final season so that the main character of the show will like stop attacking them and stuff. I don't really know how I'm gonna do a lot of stuff with this, and I have a whole thing about how the script affects the world and how the team numbers are in order for it to work, but the description's gonna work for now. So we can go ahead and get into the first character. Now, I am just gonna say that these characters are a lot more simple than my usual style for the most part, and are kind of different from what I normally do, so that's why there's going to be 2 drawings of each of the characters in this video. Anyway, for the first character, I needed to make the protagonist of this canceled show. The placeholder name for the show I have right now is Dust Bunny, since the main character is a bunny and looks kind of dusty looking, if that makes sense. I don't know. It was the best I could come up with. Like I said, it's a placeholder name. Anyway, this is Mimi. I love her so much. She's so cute. Anyway, her story. She had such a great time in her show, making friends, defeating bad guys, and learning cheesy life lessons. However, she could slightly tell that her world was not real and could somewhat see the showrunners. Because of this, when her show gets canceled, she's naturally very upset. She starts going crazy and terrorizing everyone since none of this is real and no one will see it. Even though people are making an effort to revive Dust Bunny, she's so far gone after being broken and left behind so many times that she doesn't really care anymore. Now it seems the only hope is that they can finish the show and finally get rid of Mimi for good. I love her design so much. I think it turned out so cute. I decided to make her look more raggedy looking because of how the plushie looks. Like, it's an old plushie. So I'm glad I was able to incorporate that into her design, and I think I did a pretty good job with it overall. But yeah, in conclusion, I love her. She's so cute. Also, if she looks familiar to any of y'all, that's because she did briefly show up in my sketchbook tour, as I've had her for this idea for a video for a while, and I made her as a character first because I just felt like it. So yeah, that's why you might have seen her before. The next character, and also the only human in this video, we have Scotty. Scotty's an average kind of human that works as a magician in the local town. He's not like super famous or anything, but he's made a bit of a name for himself in a small town and makes enough money to get by. On the outside, he's very charming and charismatic, but a lot of the time he does struggle with expressing his true self, particularly his more feminine side at times. So when he's the first one to go into the Dust Bunny universe and gets stuck in the form of a pink short dog with a bunch of heart patterns, he's not the happiest about that. Over time, though, he doesn't really care anymore, and he's just trying to leave. Until the show ends, he's stuck in that world. Additionally, due to the magical qualities of the show script, the only way to make progress on the show is to do something that would logically make sense in the Dust Bunny universe. So, like, they can't just do a whole, and then everyone died to the end kind of ending. Like, it has to make sense. I don't know how that's going to tie into the thing yet, but, I'm working on it. Anyway, despite this, people in the real world can write the script and influence the world in ways that shouldn't be possible from the inside. This also means that Scotty is essentially at the mercy of anyone with the script, which he, again, is not very happy about, because even though I haven't designed them in the video, like the rest of the team or whatever, he has not known them for very long, and so he's kind of annoyed that these people he hasn't known for very long could pretty much just have whatever happened to him in that show. Like, sure, they can't just, like, kill him off for no reason, but they could still probably do a lot. And so he's kind of a bit worried about that. But overall, he's kind of okay with being in the world at times. And then he's mostly just focusing on his mission of trying to end the show. One last note about Scotty. I might have lied when I said he was forced to go in first. He actually went to the writer's room late at night because, actually, I shouldn't tell you. I can't spoil everything in this video. So, that's gonna be it for him. For now. On to the next character. This one's another Dust Bunny Universe character. Her name is Marina, and she was Mimi's first friend and ally. And she didn't end up corrupt. She still remained nice and stuff. She finds Scotty when he first ends up in the show and is really confused at first. Reminder that Mimi's the only one that knows that they're in a show. She eventually becomes friends with Scotty in an effort to help him and takes him to the smartest person she knows, who we'll get to next. Anyways, I was unsure about her color palette since Mimi is also tealish color, but I also kind of wanted to stay true to the plushie, and I think it worked out. I added a lot of fun, bright colors that match the plushie, and I made her color palette distinct enough from Mimi's. Marina loves water, so these colors kind of work around well for her. And also, she does kind of collect a little bit of trash and stuff, and sea trash and stuff, and works it into, like, her fashion design. Like, yes, those are plastic bags on her arms, and she does have, like, one of those, like, bottle pin things on, like, soda cans or whatever as a little necklace. And she doesn't mind, though. She always is extra sanitary and takes care of them. Plus, again, this is a cartoon world, so it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. And Marina always loves heading towards the beach and hanging out there, and it's great. After all that's happening around her, it's nice that she can just enjoy the water and stay positive. Despite this, she does miss her quote-unquote friend, Mimi. Her and Mimi were incredibly close, and she doesn't understand why Mimi ended up like this. Like, to her, or to Marina, it's great that there hasn't been any new news about, like, the bad guys or whatever. It's not because the world was abandoned. It was because they're finally able to just catch a break. And she does not understand the severity of their situation. But the next character might not knowing a full story, knows more than he's letting on. Moving on to the last character for this video, and oh boy, this one was a little bit of a struggle. This is Aristotle. He's the local librarian and is very sketchy to say the least. Marina trusts him, but she doesn't remember when or how they first met. Aristotle is typically a reserved kind of person, but when Marina convinces him to help Scotty, he doesn't exactly refuse, yet he seems to be withholding lots of information. Scotty can't be too mad at him, though, as Aristotle was the one that helped the group know how the script and how anything can be fixed. And so therefore, he was the one that helped them come up with a plan on how they could successfully end the show and how all this stuff would work. But does Aristotle want for everything to be fixed? I mean, he exists in the show, right? He couldn't possibly want it to end, because that would mean he'd die, right? So surely he has something else going on. Yeah, sorry I can't say too much about him. Not only is he mysterious, I also just dislike his design in comparison to the rest of the characters in this video. I still think he has lots of potential to be interesting. Just maybe don't get too attached to the specific version of him, because I have some old concept art for him, and he's gone through the most changes out of everyone in this video in the process of like making the characters. Anyway, that's going to be all the characters for this video. If you want me to do a part 2 where I make some more of the humans of the team, or maybe more in-universe characters, let me know. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!